In late M41, a religious organization known as the Temple of the Star Child, or Star Cult for short, would begin to steadily grow in size, power, and influence throughout the Imperium. This cult, whose leaders claim themselves to be Sensei, the direct descendants of the Emperor himself who had supposedly been sired long before the formation of the Imperium, was seemingly focused upon the worship of an entity known as the Star Child, an aspect of the Emperor that was supposedly brought into existence during the Master of Mankind's fateful duel with the arch-traitor Horus Lupercal during the final hours of the Horus Heresy, and formed from the very energies of its soul. Over the course of their existence, the cult would perform numerous ceremonies in hopes of achieving a higher state of being, believing that the Star Child would one day grip them in a state of rapture and ascend them to the heavens in order to become one with the entity. In 997 M41, a number of inquisitorial agents led by Inquisitor Fortes would travel to the world of Leavenworth 4 in order to study and monitor the cult's actions after learning that worshippers of the Star Child had begun to gather upon the world en masse. For several months, the Inquisition would observe the various rituals and ceremonies performed by the cult, in order to discern if they were truly worshipping an aspect of the Emperor himself, or if their actions were a front for a sect dedicated to the ruinous powers. After their long surveillance, the Inquisitors would come to a number of conclusions. They believed that the cult's leaders, despite them displaying a number of strange and esoteric abilities, as well as boasting great charisma, could not be the biological children of the Emperor, as these so-called Sensei would associate themselves with abhumans, renegades, and even the Eldari, an act that the Inquisitors believed would not be tolerated by those truly favoured by the Master of Mankind. The cult's various rituals would also remind the Inquisitors of those conducted by the Thrandos cult, an organization dedicated to the chaos god Tzeentch, which had been put down over 14 years prior. While Fortes and his associates had no doubt that the Sensei truly believed that they were serving the Emperor's will, the Inquisitors, by contrast, suspected that the members of the Star Cult were, in actuality, being manipulated by Tzeentch. Fortes' associate, Inquisitor Alexio, would further support this suspicion, after claiming to have borne witness to the very taint of Tzeentch during one of the Star Cult's major ceremonies. Believing that the Temple of the Star Child posed a significant threat to not only Leavenworth 4, but also many of the surrounding systems, the Inquisition would request support in eliminating the cult in its entirety, with their call for assistance being answered by the Salamanders chapter of the Adeptus Astartes. Following the destruction of the cult, the Inquisitors would learn that 4 Sensei remained unaccounted for, as these particular individuals had not made the journey to Leavenworth 4. Inquisitors Credo and Fortes would then depart from the world in order to respectively hunt down the last of these Sensei, as well as to follow up rumours regarding a rebellion being orchestrated by Lord Varlak, whilst Inquisitor Alexio would remain upon Leavenworth 4 in order to ensure that the Star Cult had truly been destroyed. The fate of these 4 surviving Sensei remains unknown. But could these individuals have truly been Sensei, or were they in truth simply deluded and easily manipulated fools? It is worth noting that all the information regarding the purge of the Star Cult, as detailed within the 3rd edition Warhammer 40,000 rulebook, comes from a first-person account that had been penned by Inquisitor Fortes himself. While it is certainly possible that the information contained within Fortes' report is indeed fully accurate, it is also undeniably tainted by countless personal biases and accusations. One such example of this is shown with his statement claiming that no one truly favoured by the Emperor would ever associate themselves with Xenos such as the Eldari, despite the fact that Rabute Gilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramarines Legion, would himself enjoy good relations with the faction known as the Inari following his resurrection a mere 3 years later. Although in fairness, the Inquisition would be incapable of knowing this fact at this particular point in time. However, this in itself is not enough to say with any degree of certainty whether the leaders of the Star Cult were truly Sensei or not. According to the book Realm of Chaos, The Lost and the Damned, many Sensei would remain unaware of the fact that they were directly descended from the Emperor himself. Since the leaders of the Star Cult claim to be aware of their heritage, then if they were indeed truly Sensei, this would prove to be a particularly rare and noteworthy exception to the rule. As such, this would appear to support the notion that these individuals were themselves ordinary citizens that were being manipulated by a more malignant entity for some foul purpose. The fact that Inquisitor Alexio claimed to detect the corrupting influence of Tzeentch would initially appear to irrefutably prove that the members of the Star Cult were mere pawns of the Chaos God. Despite this, there is a possibility, albeit a minute one, that the Inquisitor may have simply been wrong in his assessments, as the energies and influence of the Star Child, if it indeed truly exists, may appear to those who are unfamiliar with it as being similar to that exhibited by the Ruinous Powers, if only due to the fact that the Star Child is also a warp entity of incredible potency. As such, it is possible that Alexio may have interpreted the powers of the Star Child as an attempt made by the Chaos Gods to manipulate the minds of mortals. But there is additional evidence to support the possibility that the leaders of the Star Cult may have truly been Sensei after all. The first of which is shown with the fact that the cult's leaders were described as being incredibly charismatic. As shown within The Lost and the Damned, the Sensei themselves were documented to radiate a natural confidence and harmony, which in itself can be seen as a form of charisma. The cult's leaders were also noted to have a number of incredible powers and abilities, similar to how the Sensei were also described as being highly potent psychers, a trait that they inherited from the Emperor himself. While the Sensei have been described as being psychic blanks, this is not strictly true, for while the Sensei harbour an incredible resistance to the powers of chaos, they can not only draw upon the warp itself to utilise their abilities, but its energies are capable of flowing through them unimpeded, as opposed to being actively repelled as shown with true blanks. It is partly because of a Sensei's unique psychic abilities that render them as such dangerous heretics in the eyes of the Inquisition. While the Sensei themselves are not necessarily enemies of the Imperium, they do however stand against injustice and repression in all its guises, both of which being widespread throughout mankind's domain. Because of this, the Sensei will often amass a large following from the downtrodden citizens of Imperial worlds, resulting in them commonly being regarded by the local government as threats to the status quo. The fact that the members of the Star Cult were known to associate with renegades, abhumans, and Xenos could also loosely support the notion of them being truly Sensei, for according to the 6th edition Italian Apocalypse campaign Attack on the Imperium, many Sensei would be accompanied by a retinue of warriors whose members can include human pirates, squats, Ogrins, Chikero, and even Space Marines, Sisters of Battle, and Eldari Harlequins. Given that Harlequins are known to be particularly distrustful of humans, the fact that such individuals can find themselves as part of a Sensei's retinue is indeed rather curious. So assuming that the 4 Sensei that were unaccounted for following the purging of the Star Cult were truly the Emperor's descendants, then what exactly could have happened to them? The first possibility is that Inquisitor Credo had simply succeeded in hunting down and purging the last of the Sensei, although there is currently no way of knowing with any degree of certainty one way or the other. But another possibility is that these final 4 Sensei are being prepared to combat against the favoured mortal champions of the Chaos Gods. While the gods are known to have countless numbers of champions that will fight and kill in their patron's name, each of the 4 prime Chaos Gods have one champion who is favoured above all other mortal followers: Khan the Betrayer for Khorne, Azek Ahriman for Tzeentch, Typhus for Nurgle, and Lucius the Eternal for Slaanesh. In addition to being the children of the Emperor, the Sensei are also said to be the Star Child's equivalent to a Chaos Champion, with their souls becoming bound to this seemingly benevolent entity. Since 4 of the Star Cult Sensei remain unaccounted for, it's certainly possible that these individuals are destined to meet their, for lack of a better term, opposite number in a battle to the death. While such duels will no doubt be incredibly violent, these chosen Sensei would indeed appear to have the greatest odds in dispatching the 4 greatest mortal champions of Chaos. It is even possible that the Sensei destined to face off against Lucius the Eternal may even succeed in ending his cycle of resurrection. The greatest boon which Lucius had received from Slaanesh is that should he ever fall in battle, then he will be resurrected through the body of his killer should they feel any sense of pride or satisfaction in the kill. Not only can the curse of Lucius take hold within mortal men and women, but also Xenos creatures, as well as robotic constructs such as Necron warriors. Should Lucius be slain by something as mundane as a landmine, then the Eternal One can be reincarnated through the being that manufactured such ordnance should they have ever taken pride in their work. The Sensei, by contrast, despite their natural confidence and apparent charisma, are said to be utterly incapable of experiencing any emotions embodied by the Chaos Gods, such as anger, hatred, and pride. This by extension will also mean that should a Sensei succeed in slaying Lucius in battle, then the Eternal's ability to reincarnate will most likely be nullified, resulting in Lucius experiencing true death. But then again, given that the Star Cult was supposedly being manipulated by Tzeentch, there is a chance, although an incredibly slim one, that one or more of these Sensei may have turned to the worship of Chaos. Those Sensei that fall to the influence of Chaos, as detailed within Realm of Chaos Slaves to Darkness, are known as Grey Sensei, and are said to be amongst the cruelest servants of the ruinous powers. If this were indeed the case, then this would appear to justify the actions of the Inquisition upon Leavenworth 4, for if the leaders of the Star Cult were truly Sensei that was slowly being swayed to the worship of Tzeentch, then such powerful individuals could have wreaked untold havoc across countless planetary systems. The final possibility regarding these final four Sensei is that they are being harbored by an organization known as the Cult of the Illuminated, or as they are more commonly known, the Illuminati. The Illuminati are a secretive organization which ultimately seeks to bring about the rebirth of the Emperor by sacrificing the lives of the Sensei at the precise moment the Emperor's physical body finally fails, utilizing both their life force and souls to restore the Master of Mankind to glory and lead humanity into a new, glorious Golden Age. The Sensei themselves, however, remain unaware of this plan, and are instead simply informed that they are to aid humanity in its final apocalyptic battle against Chaos. Since the Inquisition seek to hunt down and eliminate the Sensei, an act that would prevent the Illuminati's plan from coming to fruition, then it only makes sense for the organization to spirit such individuals away upon learning of their existence. Alternatively, perhaps the truth is some combination of these previously mentioned hypotheses. Perhaps the majority of the Star Cult's leaders were simply deluded fools being manipulated by Tzeentch only for those four who failed to make the journey to Leavenworth 4 to be none other than true Sensei, who were spirited away to safety at the last moment by the Illuminati. Until these four Sensei make their presence known once more, all we can do is speculate. What do you think? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.